Yeah, and we are live with it. Thank you, thank you. You're far too kind. Welcome to the show. We about to get into a subject that y'all are going to love. We are about to talk about selling souls. And we go start with this interview with Omar Gooding. And yes, indeed. See, y'all don't know about Omar Gooding. You know what I'm saying? Y'all may not recognize exactly who he is. You know, he was star of Baby Boy with Tyrese and a couple of other people. He was on Hanging with Mr. Cooper. He recently had beef with Cameron, and now he is on an interview with the people. Name of these people. The Art of Dialogue. He's on the interview with the Art of Dialogue, and he is spilling all the tea, as they say. He is letting them know what really is going on in Hollywood in this interview. So I got a little clip of the interview so we could see what he talking about, dissect it a little bit, and got a surprise for y'all. See, y'all don't know nothing about this, right? This book right here, The Origins of Occult Civilization, Volume 1, Hollywood, by a guy by the name of Brother Panic. Y'all don't know who Brother Panic is. Rest in power, Brother Panic. Ain't too many people got this book, I'm telling you. But in this book, he goes through every black Hollywood actor and names the ritual that they did on screen, you know, from whether they wore a dress or, you know, whatnot to, you know, be down with the Hollywood thing, right? And it's an alphabetical order. You know, Omar Gooding got a brother named Cuba Gooding Jr., right? He's in this book. Charlie Murphy's in this book. Eddie Murphy's in this book. Dave Chappelle's in this book. Oh, y'all thought he had walked away from all of that stuff, but he in this book too. You know, and this is not to say specifically that any of these people sold their souls, because we gonna get into that, what it really means to sell your soul out here. But before we get into the book and who's all in this book, and if let's see if Omar Gooding is in this book. That's what we're gonna see as well. Let's see if this guy that's exposing all the Hollywood secrets is in this book. Because I'll tell you what, I like Omar Gooding as an actor, right? I really do. He was in one of my homegirl movies. It's on Tubi. It's called Black Girl Lost. Y'all ever get a chance, check that out on Tubi. My homegirl Kenyatta produced it. Also got my bro Dre No Salucci. He's in the movie. Rest in power, Dre. You know what I'm saying? Check that movie out. And we go get into this interview real quick. Let's go ahead and see what Omar Gooding has to say about selling souls, right? Let's see what's going on here.
Selling your soul in Hollywood, is that a real thing?
Oh yeah. Um, I believe it begins with the choices you make with what you find acceptable. If you get a role and it requires you to do certain things that you think is acceptable and you do them, then you'll get that call. Then you'll know. Think door one thing always leads to another. It's not like you walk into Hollywood and they go like, "Ah, red pill, blue pill. Which one do you want?" You know, it's that no. They put you through the test. You know, they know who they can get away with what. People do things on camera because they're comfortable doing them. If they're uncomfortable doing them, they shouldn't be doing them. It's just that simple. That's when problems happen. Problems and cases and situations and all this inappropriate because you weren't comfortable doing it anyway, but you did it. And now you want to come back and say, "I was so the whole time I couldn't believe it." But the people doing the hiring go, I think they like this, or I think they're with it, or they're okay with it. I think
Let's stop it right here for a second. Let's stop it right here for a second because I think he says a couple of good things already, right? One, he said, hell yeah. Hell yeah, they selling souls in Hollywood off the tops, right? And if you don't know nothing about rituals, you know that if you are doing these rituals with them, then technically you are giving them some type of domain over you. And that's where the concept of selling your soul come from, because it's not like you can go do anything on your own after you get to dealing with these people, right? And so, but he said that some of these people with it. He say if you uncomfortable, hey, you know what I'm saying, just don't do it. It ain't even kind of like what you're thinking. Pay attention to what he's saying. He's saying that a lot of people are with it. You know, that's real powerful to think about right now before we get into the real nuts and bolts of what really is going on with selling the soul. Let's continue on right here.
They'll do it. This makes sense. Oh, they look like a natural. Oh, they're crying, this and that. They're fine. You okay with nudity? They strip. Oh, they're fine. They're good. And then later they come out and say, oh, I was damaged and they told me I had to, or else I would, if I don't put on this lipstick and dress, I'll never make it in Hollywood. Nobody says that. They just put it in front of you. So you want to do, we do a dress? Oh, hell yeah. They slide in that dress, zip it up and put the lipstick on and the eyes, and they're happy with it. They're comfortable doing that. They're fine.
They're comfortable doing that. They are fine. And the proof is in the pudding, because if you're saying, all right, it's all these Hollywood rituals and stuff, I see a whole bunch of people on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the social medias, niggas that ain't got no goddamn money in a goddamn dress. regular dudes. Regular dudes in a dress trying to get that dollar. They already letting them know that they with it. You know what I'm saying? So pay attention to what he's saying. Like, people going down there with the expectation of like that's what they're going to do here.
It's them. They're good. That's the people that do it. It's the ones when you come to the see if Omar put the dress on. Yeah, no. No, that's not. It's not me. I'm not. I say the dress, but it's a metaphor for just doing things that I think are unnecessary, especially for comedy. I wasn't the Three Stooges type of guy. I'm not the one I walk in and I trip and fall. You ain't got to hit me in the face with a pie. Oh, now I'm funny. Ha ha ha. Nah, just give me the line. I'll make it funny. I'll figure a way to say it cleverly that'll make everybody laugh. I don't have to trip and fall. I don't have to walk into a screen. Oh, jackass. No, I don't. That's not how I am. So,
and see, that's the definition of a true actor right there. When they got that type of confidence in themselves to where they can say, you know what, it's just certain shit that I'm not doing, and I got the skills to be able to go anywhere and display, you know, because if you don't know Omar Gooding, he's been independent lately. You know, you haven't seen him in anything major, you know? And, you know, maybe the reason why for that is because of what he's saying, because he didn't wear a dress or whatever. But, you know, we'll find out in a minute in this book if he really, really did something. You know, we'll find out in a second, you know?
So it's easier for me to turn down things that I go, nah, I'm not going to do that. Why would I do that? That make me look foolish? No. My character, my fan base likes what they like. So when I get feedback on, man, I love doing this role, I love doing that role, and they say things like, man, everything you do is solid, like, that's cool, thanks. I've done some things that overall as a project probably weren't solid, but my contribution to it was, you know, when they see you, you don't let us down. Cool. I think of them when I choose roles. You know what I mean? I also think about what I'm comfortable with and what I would have to compromise or not, you know. But I do believe, yes, it's a very real thing. It's very spiritual. There's some people don't
very real, very spiritual. Ooh.
believe in God, but do believe in the devil. Well, where'd the devil come from? How do you believe in one and not the other? You don't believe evil exists? Will you say a sing a prayer in a church and yeah, sure. All right, now we do this devil enchantment and da 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 da. No, I ain't doing that. I'm not playing with him. Yeah. You know it's real. So why would he not say, yeah, well, you do all this, I'll give you all the desires of your heart, but I'm going to collect that shit later. And we see a lot of collections happen and happening.
Them collections. You see what I'm talking about? And when people start getting off in Hollywood, we all say the same thing. Like, you know, they must have been part of this group or that group, you know? Hey, look, we see people dropping like flies and we know what it is a lot of the times, you know? So let's let them continue.
We see the collections. And when it's happening, everybody, oh, I can't believe they did that to them. Yeah, well, they made that deal a long time ago and he's here to collect. I think it's a very real thing. Just me being honest, you know? So And it all comes when you try to figure the right turn or the left turn to make or the right path or this and that. Just think about it. Sometimes what you just got to do is you look around the corner. It's the best way to figure out decision making. If I do this right now, I get this. But what's the worst thing that could happen from this? It's that. It's this. I put on a dress, some lipstick. Now I'm out. I'm in the party or I'm in the club. Someone go, there go that punk. You this and that, sissy. Watch yourself. That was just a move. No, it ain't. You like this? Now I gotta fight this man. We have to fight now. There's no other course of action because I put on that damn dress. Well, I'm not really like that, but I know. No. That's part of it. Yeah, that's enough right there to say, nah, well, then I know my lane. I know what I can.
And he not the only one that said that. This particular people, the Art of Dialogue, they had an interview with Clifton Powell. Clifton Powell saying the same thing. Like he got to be out here ready to scrap with people over roles that he done took. And he say, I like, hey, look, I'm just an actor. I'm out here trying to do my craft, and y'all taking me serious like I done really did some shit out here to people. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand that it's a lot of people in this world that ain't even mentally connected to even realize what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And that's a whole part of the game. That's the whole part of that light energy that you absorbing as you become a so-called star. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep that in mind as we continue.
I'm not Tyler Perry. I'm not. You're not comfortable in manhood. For one, that's not manhood. But let's not go there. What I'm just saying is, it's the choices you make, and then if you make this choice, that choice, Hollywood sees you've already made these choices. Well, then I'm sure you have no problem with this. Now we'll give you all you want, and you keep packing our agenda. We know whatever we give you, you'll do. So here, we'll give them all the money he wants because we say, now you're doing this because this is the agenda we want to push. This is what we want to make black men look like. This is what we want the picture of. So here, you get your money. Now go do it. That's selling your soul. You don't have a soul. It means you don't have a say. You just do what they tell you to do.
You don't have a soul. You don't have a say. You just do what they tell you to do. These are all really important things right here, because you start to see why certain people is still in Hollywood and why others not. You know, if you really look around and pay attention, because those contracts really do mean something when you start getting down with certain people.
Somebody thought I would do that and sent me a script and said, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I said, no, I'm not. But they already paid me, so I give them what I want to give them. Here, this is what you get, some push-ups. Anything else? No, we got to find another way now. We got to find another way because he didn't do what was on the script. Put a camera in the dressing room before he leaves. Tell him to take his shirt off real quick, but he changed my name. You know what I mean? That type of thing. But yes, I totally believe there's that. I've never been fortunately faced with okay, this is what it is. You know, I think people like Dave Chappelle have, and they said, look, this is what we're doing now. This is what we're doing. This is the money on the table. Your choice. And he said, nah, fuck that. You know what I mean? Kudos to him. He survived, came back even stronger. You know what I mean?
And y'all see what Dave Chappelle had to do, but if he walked away from Hollywood, like I said, he in this book right here, we go read off Dave Chappelle too. You know what I'm saying? We go read off a few people in this book tonight. You know what I'm saying? It's about to be a real fun night.
I think everyone has that moment. You have to make that choice, that decision. It may be professionally. It may be while you pulled over by the cops. It may be out at a club somewhere. You know what I mean? But everyone gets that choice. We all hope, pray that we make the right one.
And I saw you make a comment about how it's actually actors that's not living because they sold their soul.
Yeah. It's tough, man. And when the collection happens, it happens. And I don't even...
The collection, when the collection happens, it happens.
I think it's because it's that they not here. It's, well, I mean, yeah. No, it is because they're not here. I ain't going to backtrack what I said now. I mean, it's true. You make that wrong choice, and then if you don't play ball with what they want to do, you know, they'll take you out. That's the sad thing. You know, it's tough, man. If you overthink it, you go crazy.
If you don't play ball, they will take you out. This is all a part of selling your soul in Hollywood, allegedly selling your soul in Hollywood. Let us continue.
All the things that can go wrong right now to you right now can just your whole world up. So you don't think about it. You just make the best choices, because it's, you know, you got to have fun in the control room. You really got to control your environments now. There's cameras everywhere. There's phones everywhere. You may think it's funny. It may go viral in the wrong content. Now you're getting judged by the court of public opinion because you said some wild at a nightclub, or, you know, XYZ good and bad things. You got to be careful how you engage strangers. They got people killing people off of internet beef. That's crazy to me. These people get
Crazy.
brave behind the camera and then they want to take that shot. You got to be careful on so many different levels, man. But yeah, there's definitely a they, and there's factions and all the, secret society and all that type of shit. There's a lot of closed door. There's a lot of them.
There's factions, secret societies. He's saying this as a matter of fact, not a matter of suspicion. You know, he's saying this as authority of fact from a person that's been to Hollywood, know the game. Y'all pay attention.
Cool thing now is there's so many different outlets and platforms that you can use. You're not just limited to this TV show or this network or this and that. There's so many different streaming and platforms and so on and so on. I don't think it's so much like I got to do this. This is the only thing showing right now. Like, please, you have an option on your phone to watch 1 million different things right now. So, hopefully we just learn to
Exactly.
make better choices because it's all common sense and it all catches up. I think the examples that we've been seeing a lot lately in the news with all of these cameras and all of these abilities to track people let you know, don't do no stupid whether it's spiking a drink or taking a drink, whatever you're doing, hey, we're watching. And then all
They're
of a sudden everything will
watching.
catch up to you.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pause it right here because what I really want to get across here for the moment, right? What I really want to get across here is that for the most part, right? For the most part, a lot of people use the term selling a soul, right? You done sold your soul to the devil. You done sold your soul for this. You done sold your soul for that. And, the concept that real talk, most people don't really even know what a soul is. And if you look at it through the universal laws, you start looking through it through the eyes of the law of polarity, the law of mentalism, the all is mind, the universal is mental. That's the first law. So just understanding that off the tops, right? Understanding the law of correspondence, as above, so below. So if you do have a soul, right, you would be what I call cosmically entangled with your soul. Your mind, body, and spirit will be all cosmically entangled together, you know? And so your soul will be the infinite part of you, right? It will be the part of you that's everlasting, the part of you that is connected to that oneness, right? And this body, if you are technically selling your soul, you're selling basically your body, right? That's really what it goes down to, because you're not really selling your soul self here. So I really don't believe that nobody in Hollywood sold their soul. If you ask me, I don't believe nobody sold their soul. I don't think it's possible to sell your soul. Now, is it possible to do some ritualistic shit and have them on your ass? Yes, indeed. I do think that. I would not doubt that at all. And so when we get into this book here, The Origins of Occult Civilization by Brother Panic, right? Um, Brother Panic, just a little bit about the author, just from what's written here on the back of the book. About the author, Brother Panic has been a scholar, practitioner, and teacher of the occult arts since 1994. He gives lectures and consultations worldwide to help others on their spiritual and magical paths. An adept at spirit communication, Brother Panic shares practical knowledge from both sides of the unseen border. This is his first publication. So this is his first book. He actually has another book. I got to get my hands on it because he passed away, as they say, transitioned on, So rest in power, Panic, and this book right here is basically saying that the rituals that they're uh performing is basically a part of the old Willie Lynch letter type of ritualistic stuff, right? And they doing it to all the black actors in Hollywood. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. One second. Let me check something out real quick. before we get started on this. It's about to go down. It's about to go down. It's about to go down. Y'all have no idea. We about to get into this book, y'all. It's about to get very, very interesting. I don't know where y'all could pick this book up from, but if y'all can, go ahead and get it because it got information about the chakras, the Kabbalion. It breaks it down into a nice, easy to read type of level. It goes through so much of everything, but as I say, it got a very black actor here from A to Z, and let's see now. Got every black actor in here from A to Z. And we gonna go ahead and get it cracking, right? We gonna go ahead and get it cracking from A to Z, right? Now, as I told y'all, let's see who we got in here first, right? The very first one up in here, let me give y'all the parameters of it, right? So he says it took over a year for me to do the research, and to my surprise, I could barely find a handful of black male actors who have not at some point in their acting career been used by Hollywood for this Willie Lynch agenda. I will mention some of the ladies as well, but almost no black male goes without at least one incident. Remember, the goal is to take away your manhood symbolically on screen. So that's what all of the ritualistic stuff is about that they actually do on screen, right? So that's where the whole wearing the dress thing comes from. That's a big one. But you will see it's a lot of other stuff that he include in here. And this is the list right now. It says this is not limited to just this list, but this is the list he got here. Putting on a dress, kissing a man, showing their ass, exploiting their own people's integrity, acting subordinate to an on-screen white power, anything that shows the white man that's dominant. They usually have a black sidekick, you know, the type of movies, and anything that shows you as a child or a dependent, okay? And so they got 50 Cent as the first guy in here. That's funny. Let's see a couple of other people. I'm skipping past a lot of names. They got so they got it on the 5-star rating here, right? Let me see. Let me read about this rating. It says putting on a dress instantly and clearly feminizes you, as does kissing another man. Showing your ass is represented as ownership. It taps into the slave auction scenario. Woo, this book is deep. His dominance over you or acting like a child shows the loyalty and dependency of the slave to his master. Jailhouse movies are a big way of dehumanizing you, and it also justifies you on screen raping other men. It says these are the main stereotype images Hollywood seems to repeat for its mind control using the black male image. It may seem like a simple list, but after you finish reading each actor who has been exploited in using just these 5 main areas, you will see how effective it has been. The point could be made that white people have done the same type of movies. And that is true. So you may be able to name some scenarios with white actors. What we have to remember is that they have not gone through the same Holocaust as us, and a symbol tells 1,000 words. Based on that, the symbols are designed to convey specific words to us about us, and based on our very different histories, the same performance has a different impact, right? And so each actor has a rating from 1 to 5 based on how far they allow themselves to be exploited, with 1 being a little bit light and 5 being the greatest. 50 Cent got 4 out of 5 stars, right? Let's see who else we got in here. Alan Payne got 2 stars. Andre 3000 got 1 star. Let's see. It's some of everybody. We still on the A's here. Antonio Fargas got 5 stars. I don't know if y'all know who that is, but he got 5 stars. Let's see. Ari Spears, 5 stars. Arsenio Hall, 5 stars. Ooh wee. Let's get into some more people. Bernie Mac, 5 stars. Oh, I don't give a damn. He's still funny. Yo, of course, Bill Cosby, 5 stars. He got a whole 2.5 pages. 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pages on Bill Cosby. Ooh, Blair Underwood in here. Cedric the Entertainer. Ooh, got a couple pages on Cedric the Entertainer, but he only gave him 3 stars. Charlie Murphy got 4 stars. Right? Chris Rock, 5 stars. Chris Tucker, 5 stars. Clarence Williams III, 3 stars. Clifton Powell, 2 stars. Let me just read up on Clifton Powell. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? And he was saying on his interview that he had that he wasn't even with the shit. And see, that's what I say. Sometimes you with the shit and you don't even know what the fuck it is, because if you don't know something is ritual, how you go not do it? You like it sound innocent enough, but it's probably not even nothing major in here, man. That's how really the scale go, right? Clifton Powell, movies, Civil Brand, 2002, and Next Friday played Pinky, got awards at the American Black Film Festival. It's pretty thorough little semi-filmography for each person he got listed here, you know? It say you often see him in various roles in black movies. He was in a movie called Black Civil Brand, and of course, they animalized him and made him this savage warden of a prison where he rapes the girls and so on. It was a really bad and exploitive movie, and they showed him to be an animal. It is a terrible movie with bad acting, but it clearly served its purpose. He exploited himself as Pinky in Next Friday. It was a funny role, but of course they made him out to be a coon. He is not such a major actor where they have to give him a great deal of attention. After seeing Civil Brand, it is clear he is one of those guys who would do anything. And you know what happens is that, a lot of the times it's like, all right, they accept roles in Hollywood. They got to get paid one, but you know what I'm saying? I ain't really mad at that. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course it's going to be exploitative. That's what the whole industry is all about. So when you get into the industry, you know it's going to be some things that is going to border the line, right? But I said they got his brother in here, Cuba Gooding Jr., born January 2nd, 1968. They got a page and a half on him. Won Best Actor in a Supporting Role for Jerry Maguire. Got the Razzies nominated Worst Actor for Boat Trip, Fighting Temptations, and Radio. Hey, funny, right? But Cuba Gooding Jr., I'm going to just skim through it. They say they straight feminized him in the movie Boat Trip, you know? So they got D.L. Hewley up in here. Damon Wayans got 5 stars. I'm pretty sure all the Wayans is in here. Danny Glover. Dave Chappelle got 4 stars. Now, that's why I wanted to stop at real quick on Dave Chappelle, because we all know what happened when on his show, when he left that bread on the table, and he came back better. But this is what I was telling you about. Sometimes you do some real ritualistic type of shit and don't even know it. See, watch this. See, Dave Chappelle, he gave him 4 stars, right? The movie he's talking about here is the Robin Hood Men in Tights, 1993. So keep in mind how young Dave Chappelle was when he did this movie. This is 1993, right? It says so. Now, we have to give a lot of props to Dave Chappelle for coming out and telling everyone in mainstream media about the concept of the feminization of black male image in movies. And you remember he was on the Oprah show. He did that as far as the built in the conscious system of feminizing the black man on Oprah show. He said they asked him to put on a dress in the movie, and when he refused, they had already had an alternative script ready. He said he wondered how they had a new script ready that fast. So now he put his foot down and turned out very dignified and honorable. But I do have to say that in his first movie, Robin Hood men in tights, he has on a dress. So he did wear the dress in the movie before Chappelle's show, but he still gets props for at least coming out against it with a certain amount of consciousness, right? And so, but this going to go on and say what was interesting is that after he came out, they re-released Robin Hood Men in Tights, and on the back of the box they have a picture of the scene with him and others in a dress. It seemed like they did this to make a point that he wore a dress in the movie. It is good to see that he stood up against the madness and decided to stop. Remember, for his decision to call it like he saw it, he was and still is blackballed from Hollywood at that time of the writing of this book. It seems like Hollywood cares a bit too much for this to be a stretch of the imagination. Why would they re-release Robin Hood Men in Tights and in the artwork show David in a dress unless they were trying to make a point? And so y'all see it's real out here in the field here when it comes to this, right? Y'all see it's definitely real in the field. But let's move on. DeAndre Barnes, that was my guy. I like that guy. I think he went to jail. I don't know if he in jail again. I don't know what happened to him. I have to look up, see what happened to him. D. Ray Davis in here. But let's see if we can find Omar Epps, right? Jamie Foxx in here, 5 stars. Jimmy Walker, 3 stars. I done skipped a whole lot of people. I still, you know what I'm saying? I still got to get to the O's. Cat Williams in here, 4 stars. Kadeem Hardison, 5 stars. Keenan Ivory Wayans, 5 stars. Woo! A lot of people got 5 stars. They got Larry Fishburne, 4 stars. Woo! They got 1, 2, well, almost 2 pages on him. Man, they got LL Cool J in here. He get 1 star. And y'all pretty sure y'all know that's for that scene scene in the movie In Too Deep, the pool stick scenes. You know what I'm saying? Woo! Everybody done did something. Martin Lawrence, 5 stars. Marlon Wayans, 5 stars. Michael Ealy, 2 stars. But is Omar Gooding in here? It goes. Boom. Drum roll, please. Oh, I got the drum roll. Let's give a round of applause for all the people that's in this book here. I'm not saying y'all sold y'all soul. I am not saying y'all sold y'all soul. That is a whole different concept or idea. But considering the information we have in Hollywood, it's hard to deny that they've been doing some ritualistic shit. So O.J. Simpson with 4 stars. Oba Babatunde, I think that's how you pronounce. Forgive me if I'm butchering your name here. He got 2 stars. We move on to Omar Epps with 2 stars. And then next is Orlando Jones with 5 stars. Omar Gooding is not in this book, y'all. Let's give a round of applause for Omar Gooding. Let's give a round of applause for Omar Gooding, y'all. He did not make the book. I don't know where y'all could get this book from, but I am glad that I got it. If anybody got Brother Panic's second book, let me know. I'll buy it off for you. Or if I could get it from, then boom, boom, boom. Just send me that information and I'll go get it. But congrats to Omar Gooding for not making the book. However, Omar Gooding did say he did some shit that he was comfortable with back on, like, I think it was hanging with Mr. Cooper, and he was saying that he had to play a mother for an egg in a particular show that he did. I think that was on the Smart Guy show, right? And I ain't necessarily mad at him for that, right? Because at the end of the motherfucking day, you know what I'm saying? The idea of being defeminized as a man, it's just all a part of the game here. When you learn the game here and how this world works, you will understand that everything is ritual. Even when you go to church and you drinking out of that glass for the wine and eating the cracker for the bread, that's ritual. Everything is ritual. Brushing your teeth is ritual. Ritual is really performing a certain act over and over in order to obtain a certain result, right? And it has intention, focus, and emotion in general behind the particular ritual, and that's the more powerful you make it, right? And so when it comes to the concept of selling your soul cannot be sold. It's one of those infinite parts of you. This the invisible infinite part of you that you tap into when you go and meditate. When you close your eyes and you dig down deep, as above, so below, you become a part of the nothingness and the oneness that permeates out of everything, you know? All of these scientists. It was funny, I was watching Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he was talking about how he doesn't believe in the soul. He doesn't believe in the afterlife. He doesn't believe in a external God that somebody should be praying to, right? Nah. Shout out to him. That's what he say he believe. And if you don't know any better, you don't know that he part of technically an agenda working with some other people. So even though he would have the so-called be a so-called black man, he may not necessarily be on everybody's side. And that's why you got to look at everything with a fine tooth comb. Look at everything with a fine tooth comb. So even the science that they decide to give us, it would deny the existence of God. But if you understand that God within is the true God, as and it's interconnected with all, and we are all within that one, right? So even in the concept, right? Let's just say you don't have an individual soul and you believe in the oneness. That still can't be sold. If you don't have a soul, how can you sell it? Like it's funny when you really think about it, because what happens is what they're really feeding off of in Hollywood is the lower vibrational emotion that you feel after doing the ritual, right? They showed you that on him and everything they had him doing. If you notice, after he did every ritual, he didn't show any emotion on the movie him. It was just all a part of the game. He was a little bit confusing. He like, all right, I'll get through the ritual. He wasn't crying about it or nothing like that. He had his moments where he was confused, but that didn't have anything to do with him going through the ritualistic process. Now, what happens is that when they sign these contracts in Hollywood, or any contract that you sign, even when you're born and you put the sole of your feet, right, to that contract, what they were showing you in the movie Him was that those contracts is void now. Those contracts is void. The all is mind, the universe is mental. All of those contracts did was protect the ancestors and your higher spiritual self. It's allowing them to be protected by that. And so therefore they get to exploit the human body of us that our soul should be guiding. Our soul take a back seat to it. There, y'all gave them permission to run the shit. And it's all imaginary anyway. That's really the whole key. You know, you need to go watch the if you don't understand what I mean when I say it's all imaginary, go watch the movie Inception. And if you understand what they mean when they go in 3 layers deep into the dream and they go down into limbo, and limbo will be synonymous to what this reality is, right? Limbo would be synonymous to long ago, subconsciously in our minds, we created all of this mentally, built every pyramid, built every structure. And somewhere along the way, we forgot who we are. And then now we get born into these human bodies that have ended up manifesting over the course of what we call time now. And in this realm of time, now that we are born here and we exist, we wake up and we marvel at the world around us. Wow, those are pyramids that are so tall, so big, so magnificent. Who made them? Who put this there? Who put that there? You know, and then you end up asking the question like, well, what came first, the chicken or the egg? You know, and really everything came all at once, all at one time in the manifestation of mind. That's really how everything processed. It's like the same thing when you in your own dream and you dreaming at night. And when you dreaming at night, and let's just say you in your dream, you turn around, the stairs right there. You're not asking who built the stairs. You're not asking who's the architect of the stairs, where the wood came from, because subliminally you already know that you're the one who built everything in the dream. And so that you turn around and you go up the stairs, or you turn around and you go into the house, or you run over here to the lake or to the river. That's why you were able to turn two corners and be at grandma's house in your dream, because you don't have to go through the illusion of space and time of what we have here. But in these bodies, our consciousness itself of remembering who we are, the cosmic light that you resonate, that Titan light, that's what lets you know that you're not selling your soul here, you know? And so I'm gonna leave it with this. I think I'm gonna leave it with this today. Hold on. Let me put y'all together. You know what I'm saying? Let me put y'all together real quick before I close this on down. You know, let me put y'all together real quick before I close this on down. Let me. You know what? I'm gonna do y'all a favor. Let me go ahead and blow this up a little bit for y'all. You know, let me go ahead and blow this up a little bit for y'all. Right? Boom. Let me let y'all get a clear view of what's going on here. Let me let y'all get a clear view of what's going on here. The Gnostic view of the soul. All right. In Gnostic cosmology, the soul represents far more than mere consciousness. It is understood as a divine spark, a luminous fragment of the true God, the unknowable God, and perfect source, called the monad, if that's how it's pronounced. This sacred essence became ensnared within the material realm through a cosmic tragedy. According to the Gnostic teachings, our physical universe was fashioned not by the supreme deity, but by a false god known as the demiurge, aided by malevolent servants called the archons. And this worldview establishes a fundamental dualism at the heart of existence. Right? This is one point of view. I could give y'all any point of view, but I'm gonna give y'all the Gnostic point of view. It says the architect of entrapment, right? The architect of entrapment would be the material prison. The body and physical world serve as a confining prison designed to keep divine light captive and unaware of its true origin. The divine prisoner, the soul itself, is the prisoner. Pure divine light, temporarily bound within flesh, yearning for liberation and return to the source. So here it says you do got a soul that's living within you, you know, that's bound to the flesh. And the key to freedom is gnosis, or sacred knowledge, which represents the only key capable of unlocking the prison and enabling the soul's escape from material bondage. So, selling the soul in Gnostic understanding says while the Gnostic text never employed the precise phrase selling your soul, they articulated a strikingly parallel concept through rich symbolic language. The idea of trading divine truth of worldly illusion pervades their writings, representing the same spiritual transaction under different metaphors. In Gnostic thought, one sells their soul through three primary forms of spiritual betrayal that trap the divine spark further in material darkness. And these are the three ways. It's submission to materialism, which is worshiping wealth, power, status, or physical pleasures instead of pursuing transcendent truth and spiritual awakening. Following the false god, which is serving the demiurge, the deity of ignorance who governs the material realm, rather than seeking reunion with the true divine source. And the last way is rejecting inner knowledge, choosing spiritual blindness over the illuminating power of gnosis, remaining asleep rather than awakening to one's divine nature. So don't let the archons buy your light with illusions. And so that's what part of how I came up with my cosmic light theory based on the Gnostic understanding as well. But I'm of the opinion that there is no soul for to be sold at all. And it's a combination of the Egyptian mythology, understanding Mayat, and Negative Confessions of Maya, which states that this is an illusion. Maya, this is an illusion. So none of this is actually happening. And if it's not actually happening, how am I selling my soul? And so you're able to imagine and create and manifest whatever you want here. And so that's why I said if they with the shit, then they just with the shit, and then they just agreeing to temporary understanding of what's going on with their body for all the people who did them Hollywood rituals, because everything is ritual. Us eating the food is ritual as they continue to poison the food. Us watching their football games is ritual. Everything is ritual. So you're selling your soul for the Detroit Lions right now to win a Super Bowl type of thing. You got to pay attention, right? But the path to reclamation in Gnostic theology, the demiurge continuously tempts souls to forget their celestial origin, luring them with material promises and sensory pleasures. Selling one's soul manifests as agreeing to live as if the material world constitutes all reality, a catastrophic loss of awareness regarding one's divine essence. And so the truth sin, unlike Orthodox Christianity's emphasis on disobedience, Gnostics identified agnosia or ignorance as the fundamental transgression, the failure to know oneself as divine. And that's really what's important here. You got to know thyself. And signs of a sold soul is one pursuing power or fame while abandoning their spiritual truth. You got to stay spiritual grounded. Ain't nobody say you can't be an actor or an actress, but stay spiritually grounded and don't make it about the fame and the fortune. Make it about the art. And most of them will tell you that it's about the art. Becoming enslaved by lust, greed, or violence. They do a lot of that by manipulating the human body, what I'm saying, through our foods, through the things we watch on TV. And so it becomes, if you look around, you'll be like, damn, how many times have I sold my soul if you actually looking at it in this type of context? Forsaking the search of higher light in favor of fleeting pleasure. And how many of us go out here every day for instant gratification? So if instant gratification is a concept of selling your soul, you're selling your soul every day. Salvation through knowledge. The only pathway to liberation required gnosis, a profound awakening to one's authentic identity and cosmic origin. The transformative knowledge liberated the soul from archonic control. So while popular culture depicts selling one's soul as a Faustian bargain with Satan for earthly power, Gnostic teaching reveals a more insidious transaction: forgetting your divinity and serving the material realm instead of your spiritual essence. The greatest tragedy lies in not what we gain, but in what we forget. Oh, that is too dope. Did y'all hear that? Oh man, that was live. Let me read that again. While popular culture depicts selling one's soul as a Faustian bargain with Satan for earthly power, Gnostic teaching reveals a more insidious transaction: forgetting your divinity and serving the material realm instead of your spiritual essence. The greatest tragedy lies not in what we gain, but in what we forget. You have to remember that you are a God here. All right? That's really the bottom line. If you don't know that you a God, if you don't know that you a Titan, then you done already sold your soul. That's basically what the Gnostics say. But I say, hey, it just may take you a little bit more time to remember. I don't think you done sold your soul. Because like I say, the way that they stamping people, all of these babies' feet when they get born down at down at the hospital, that means as soon as you come up in here, you already done signed a contract. So that means that your soul is already sold? No, what that does is them stamping that birth certificate with the soles of the feet of the baby, that allows protection for the doctors and for all of the people that are going to continuously do all this ritualistic shit to us the rest of our life. It allows them the protection from the ancestors. They're making us agree through contract and then convincing us that we are not the God through other doctrinations. That's why all of the religions are so prominent, because they put the God outside of you. And no knock to anybody that, hey, if that's your way to go, good luck to you. I focus on the God within. I focus on the God mentality. And what's good for me may not be good for you. But for me, I'm downloading cosmic light here. You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference between those that then sold they soul allegedly and those that have not. All right. I want to thank everybody for staying up with me. It's been an excellent, excellent show. I appreciate it all. I hope y'all learned a little something about selling your soul tonight. And let's stay tightened up, tighten up, tighten up. Peace.